Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Well, good day, everybody.
Now I got you.
Why don't you just level with me?
Why don't you level with me then?
All right, settle down, boobs.
I could care less.
All right. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. I am your host, Mike. That is your other host, Jay.
Hello, Mike.
Shalom E. Hello, Jay. How are you?
Quite well, thank you.
Yeah, you doing all right?
It's a pleasure to be here.
Did you survive Stella the Nor'easter? Have you survived that
I
yet?
did.
You did?
Death Storm 2017.
Oh, man. It's getting ugly out there. Yeah, they're I think New York is still attached to the country. I'm not sure at last count. I think they got 3 inches of the 2 feet of death storm that they were supposed to get. So I hope everyone's okay there. How was your day otherwise?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to an interview coming up.
Yes.
With one Ken Kratz,
I know. I'm looking forward to that as well.
prosecutor in the Making a Murderer saga.
I can't tell you, Jay, I can't express it enough how much I fucking hated this guy. When I watched Making a Murderer, I fucking hated. He represented all, like, evil lawyers or dastardly people.
He was unlikable.
He was very
His
unlikable.
appearance and voice didn't help.
No. His sexting scandal did not help.
No.
His taking down of a purely innocent man like Stephen Avery
Right.
didn't help. With not a care in the world to stick 2 innocents in prison for life, like one Brendan Dassey and Steve Avery.
No, it
When I read his book,
riveted
Jay.
the country,
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah, so
Certainly. Making Murder. It was about a year ago, right? Early. I think I remember right around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Last year watching that, and boy, was that addicting.
Yeah.
I think it's the only thing I've ever binge watched.
I was surprised when you said that when you came in because it was like, no way. All right, cool.
Couldn't
Something-
stop watching.
Something to talk. I think that was one of those where you're like, one more episode, Gab. One
Yeah.
more episode. I'll come to bed.
Yeah.
It-
we were staying up very late into the evening watching that shit.
Yeah.
It's well done, Mike.
Fascinating stuff. So
Good TV show.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. As we're excited to have him on as the author of a new book. So we'll do that here shortly.
But before we get too much further, Mike, extended by popular demand for the month of March, when you buy or lease your next new or used vehicle from Zott Ford, you'll receive $500 in free travel from Deals in the D VIP travel website. Yes, that is $500 of free hotel stays only for the month of March and only from your friends at dealsinthed.com. E, are you using any of this cash for your Daytona trip?
What do you mean?
Well, you go get a car and you got hotel cash.
That's a good
There you
idea.
go.
Give
Then,
myself
then Mike and I don't have to pay for it.
I was gonna say. Plus
You know
I'd
what? I
probably get
am buying a
nicer
car
hotel.
this week, so
Really?
There you
I wonder
go.
if that comes with $500
Aha!
Deals in the D cash. If it does, E,
Can I upgrade my
no, I
hotel
wouldn't
to
give it.
shit
I
to-
wouldn't give it to you, but then I'd have something to look forward to next time I go on vacation. You know what I
Why would you
mean?
bring that up then?
I mean, this could be game changing. Well, it could have been for you if I were to give you the money, which I would never do. But for me, this could be game changing if I decided to go somewhere. We're talking about bumping up from a 4-star to a 5-star hotel.
Sounds like it.
You know what I mean? It's
E,
gonna
are
be
you
huge.
excited to
I'm
get down
happy
there?
for you.
You excited? Going Tuesday through Thursday, is it?
Leaving Monday. I'll be there Monday night.
Nice.
Leaving Thursday morning. I've already had a few listeners, by the way, that might be.
I'm excited
Might
for
be
you. E.
joining.
You've never done the spring
I've
break
never
thing.
done a spring
You
break.
have no idea.
I know.
Was that lack of friends that
I don't know. What's your excuse, Mike? You've never done it.
I never had money?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go.
It's the
I could
other
have
side
gone
of
when
it.
I was a kid. I just didn't have money to do it.
Yeah, I had 3 reasons, I guess. I didn't. Well, you know what? Money wasn't. I probably could have gotten the money because I worked jobs in high school, so I guess I probably could have saved up.
And I
Honestly-
did do one spring break in Myrtle Beach.
Oh,
But not like Daytona.
right.
Dude, I did Myrtle Beach with your brother, Mike. Mm-hmm. I ended up in Myrtle Beach one year. I
With
think it was
G?
Myrtle Beach with G, man.
Probably.
There was a period where I hung out with G way more than you, honestly. G's a good man.
He
G's
is a good man.
He's a damn good
boy.
man. I remember heading down to Myrtle Beach with Merck. So I think we were in college. We were heading down there. It probably was G's senior year. Merck ended up leaving me off with G, and then he was going to meet some other friends. And then I lost Merck. This was before cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I lost Merck was he had the phone number for the hotel G was staying at, but I got him kicked out of there. on accident.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, they were teetering on the edge when I got there.
Yeah,
and
they'd
I
already
just
done some
merely-
stuff.
What, just loud or
I
just
merely
too
put
many
one
people in
more
the
beer
room,
can
or-
on that edge, and it.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
boy.
slammed the door, which was enough to shake the car enough that it fell over the cliff.
Yeah, the proverbial slamming of the door was actually an answering of the phone and yelling at the owner of the hotel.
Oh, that's always good. You did that?
Yeah, I did.
What do you remember? What you were yelling about,
I
or
don't
how
know.
drunk you were?
We were drunk as shit, dude.
Yeah.
I pulled up. Merc pulls up, leaves me off. I'm walking up the stairs of this thing, and G meets me in full security garb. He's in like rent-a-cop garb.
My
like,
brother
G, my man, my good man. That's a good look. He's like, this is my buddy Tyler, and he's like, got his arm around the real security guard who's in like, I don't know, a t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
And G's got his whole outfit on.
Was this
Nice
an ironic
play,
outfit?
G. Yeah, it was kind of ironic.
Was he fucking with people? I could see G fucking with people.
Yeah, he was. He was.
My
I mean, you
God.
guys have a long history together. I mean, you guys were the defense of our soccer team.
Well, that and we
So-
worked the same shift at Gene's Hardware. We were killer
And Sears
killer
Hardware.
shift mates. Yeah,
Or Sears Paint and Hardware, excuse me.
you're correct.
Yeah, you have more shared history with G than you do with me.
Pretty close.
I barely know you compared
G's
to
a
you and
damn
G.
good man. I
He's
miss
a-
G.
I do too. He's out in Arizona, but I'm sure he sends his regards. He's always spoken very highly of you. Did you
No,
did
for
you
me
go?
it was just lack of probably not even money, lack of friends, lack of being invited to go to things. Like,
Oh, here we go.
my-
Violin. Oh, poor
it's the
E.
truth though.
Yeah, it's the truth.
I mean, I always went. My family, my grandma,
Nana, God rest her soul.
Well, the other one, this one's still alive.
Well, still rest her soul.
Hold on. You've got a living Nana?
Yes.
Get out of here.
What? This is a game changer.
Two.
You have another living. You've got a living Nana.
Yes.
No way. Is she as cool as the Nana that we just lost?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't see much.
Does
of
she
her
have a
anymore.
vet?
Lightning bolt pubes.
I don't see. I
You
saw
take her
for
to the
first-
coin wash.
No, she doesn't live at her home with us. I don't
Yeah,
see
she's
much,
got her
I don't
own
see
fuck
much
pad.
of this Nana, but she would go down to Florida. She was Florida in the winter, here in the summer. So we would, as a family,
Now I got you.
go down to Fort Myers every year, but nothing like woo spring break woo.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah, I don't even know why you mentioned that. Everybody's gone down to Florida with their grandparents and shit. We're talking spring break.
I understand
E.
you asked me. No, I didn't do it.
Okay.
I never did it.
Well, I'm excited for you then.
It's gonna be interesting because I wonder how I'll be received.
What is your goal? Is it to get fucking wasted? Is it to get laid?
Well, definitely gotta get the getting laid thing in there, I guess.
Now,
Yeah.
E, you got to get right in the mix, though, because these things like a Daytona,
Oh.
just like going to Daytona doesn't mean there's people everywhere
Jay.
and there's parties everywhere. You have to find the right place and you got to embed yourself.
Yeah.
Do you think
You
and
got to
one of
be
the
the
guys.
guy standing on the third floor balcony going, woo!
Jay.
Woo! And
Jay.
then diving off.
Jay. I know you don't have a lot of respect for me. And
Look
so-
at the old guy on
I
the
don't mean it like
balcony.
that. I don't mean it like that. I get it. I get that a lot of listeners might. There's a lot people can say about me, but the one thing you can't
lot.
say about me is that if I do something like this, dude, I'm gonna be the dude. If they're on a stage, fuck, when me and Kadog went to the Renaissance Festival, and they started yelling out, "Who wants to do grape stomping?" I was like, boom, in.
All right,
Yeah.
all right,
So
good.
if I'm on the beach, dude, and I hear someone, there's a stage, and someone's like, "We're doing whatever up here. We need 4 people." Trust me, I will be there.
You think they'll
You're
take
the
the
guy.
old guy, though? That's the problem.
I know that, and they might not take me.
You
I'm
might
in
want to
that weird-
shave and get a college T-shirt of some sort.
The problem is, maybe I should shave.
Shave, get a Brazilian, too.
Yeah, go
I'd say-
full
I
on
am going to
Brazilian.
actually do a little.
If you're gonna go
downstairs
thong.
shaving, but
What school should we pretend E goes to?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Well, I have to look on the
or
official list of schools that are going, I guess. But that doesn't
Arizona
matter.
State would be a good one. I'm trying to think of party ones. Florida State, but
Not
you
sure
don't have the
why
tan for
someone from
Florida State.
Arizona State would head on down to Daytona, but
It's a good point
Okay.
why someone from Florida State would go to Daytona either. But you could maybe be like Wyoming U or something,
Right,
or
I suppose.
something lame where you're gonna get out of control.
Right. I don't know. I guess, like I said, like trust me, I'm not someone who's gonna. I'm working on getting a friend to go, which would be the best case scenario because then he films and stuff, so he could walk around filming me do stuff. So that would be the best case. So hopefully that will work out. Actually,
well,
But I-
before you leave for that, we have some business to attend to at Hamlin Pub on
That's
St.
true,
Patty's
dude.
Day. Are
It's
you
not
gentlemen
there yet.
excited
Right.
for this?
I am very excited for
Hamlin
this.
Pub is on board, and with St. Patty's Day coming up around the corner, they want you to stop on by and enjoy a true traditional Irish day. All 5 locations, Chesterfield, Clarkston, Rochester Hills, and 2 in Shelby Township, open at 7 a.m., where you will be greeted by none other than Big E at the Shelby Township location, Van Dyke and 25 Mile. They'll have your Irish breakfast waiting and all the green beer that you can think of. They'll also have live bagpiper performances, so swing on by and experience a true St. Patty's Day at the Hamlin Pub. And Mike and I will be there, at 1 p.m., right?
Yes.
I'm
Be
going to
there
have
at
an
1.
actual breakfast. Whatever this Irish breakfast is, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I'm going to have one. Never
Well,
had one before.
I think people have started their St. Patty's Day festivities a little early. I got to tell you guys, I forgot to mention yesterday, but Sunday, like right when I got power back and you guys came over and we did a show, and I don't know, you guys were kind of here late, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, something like that. And then I went up to McDonald's, just to get something to eat. I hadn't opened my fridge in 3 days and was like, I'll just go up there. And the line is like around the building. And I'm like, fuck. And I get up to the thing and
Dude, it's not Shamrock Shake,
It's
is
got to
it?
be.
oh, Shamrock Shakes are there. Oh, they're in effect. I didn't get one, but all of a sudden I'm sitting at the thing waiting for the voice to
Place what would you like to have?
and nothing. Finally I'm like, yo, dude, and the lady's like, yeah, pull your ass up, to the second window and shit. And I'm like, all right, okay. And so I go there, and all of a sudden cars are like ducking out of line. They're bailing, and I'm like,
Something's
oh,
amiss.
This is great, and so I'm stuck. There's like one car in front of me, and there's another car at the window, and so the car at the window finally leaves and has their order and gone, and the guy in front of me is just sitting there, and I'm like, all right, kind of in a sketchy neighborhood. I don't want to just start all willy nilly like, hey, fuckface, pull forward. I didn't want
Sketchy
to
neighborhood.
Southfield. And so, yeah. And so I'm just like, I don't want to be a bother, sir, but do you care to move forward? Now we're going on 5 minutes. And so I'm trying to gently, like, with the horn, just like maybe that was the guy behind us. Hey, calm down. He's going. He's just gathering his things. Nothing.
You run out of gas in the drive-through line?
You would think, but then someone would roll down a window and go, hey, fuck you, I'm out of gas. Give me a minute, or something. There's no movement. And so then I start getting a little more antsy, like fucking, let's go. Hey, shithead.
I need my Big Mac.
But at this point, I've backed up a little bit so that if someone gets out with a gun and starts shooting, I can fucking turn the wheel and go. I can get the hell out of there. At this point, the person in the McDonald's drive-thru window is leaning like full body out the window, doing one of these. Yo, pull up here. Nothing. So then they come to the second window, and
Do we
now
have a
they're.
diabetic episode?
I don't know what we had, but and the lady is now yelling in this guy's window, "Hey, sir, and slamming on the window as I'm laying on the horn, and there's absolutely no movement at all. I'm like, this guy fucking died? What's going on here? And finally, after pounding on this guy's window for, 3 minutes, it came to, not in the way you're thinking,
Gross.
but it woke up and just went, and just like flipped its long hair and put it in drive and took off. Dead
Okay.
fucking asleep in the drive-thru. It's like, yeah, man, someone's got their party going on in here.
If that's it, because you do hear the stories of that, people drunk and
It was
I
a
just
little
don't
too
get
early.
it. I
Yeah, it was a
can't
little
believe it.
early.
I
But
can't believe being that drunk, and you were enough that you got in the car, but
It's brutal.
man,
Yeah.
right,
Driving amongst us.
I know. E, how was the Joe? You went to the WrestleMania, not WrestleMania.
Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw, same thing.
No, it's not, but it's all right. Last Raw,
Almost
the
identical.
show, yeah, it was great. The WWE puts on really a good show. I know you guys don't watch and you don't give a shit, but if you go, I think if you took
No,
your-
I hear they've got top-notch writers. It doesn't
I
surprise
could
me.
care less.
Of course. Like, if Jay were to take his kids, he probably wouldn't, but if he were to take his kids, I think they would be entertained. I don't think you would just sit there and be like, this is ridiculous. Now, you kind of got to know storyline, so it'd be a little hard, I guess, but... Because, the problem is when you're there, it is a weird thing. It's a weird... Because, like, you're used to going to basketball games and not hearing the commentary, but commentary in wrestling is actually... When you're watching on TV, it's really big. Because they explain a lot of stuff, and when you're there, it's really funny, because it's just quiet. And it's just the quiet of the mat and the wrestling. But it was...
Oh, yeah, there's no announcers.
But it was good,
sitting there,
man. I will say I'm in a little sticky situation, I think, though, with a lady.
Oh,
Oh,
And
no.
I've been talking to this girl. I met her at an EDM show a little bit back. I brought it up on this show, and I don't know if you remember, but I met this girl at this EDM show where we kind of bought tickets together to share money. But then when we went to the show, she was with her.
Bought
remember that. I
tickets
remember.
together to share money. That's not explained very well.
Well, no, we bought tickets in a 4-pack to save money. It would
But
be
you
sa-
didn't know her at the time.
I didn't know her, and then, then she came with a guy, and so I was kind of like,
As soon as you got in, she's like, yeah,
yeah, I was like, I don't
Gone,
know,
yeah.
or maybe she's with this dude, but whatever.
maybe.
But we've kept in contact a little since then. And last week on Snapchat, when I was watching wrestling.
But this was a farcical chat, E.
What do you
Go
mean?
ahead and explain your chat. This is not representative of the true you.
I know. And
This is
here's,
like you going out and renting a Ferrari and going, look at me and my Ferrari.
I know. So what happened is, to explain it even more so, my dad, for Christmas, got himself a nice TV for the basement, which is pretty much me. I don't really know why he got it,
Yeah.
because whatever, but he did. And so it looks pretty impressive. It's a nice TV. It's got the pay-per-view on. I'm getting a pay-per-view on this nice
Hell
TV.
yeah.
And she's like, wow, I want to come over and watch some wrestling pay-per-views. I'm like, hell yeah.
A reasonable conclusion for somebody who's just looking at a 38-year-old's chat.
E found the chick out there that digs EDM and wrestling and is impressed with his big screen. It's amazing.
I
Dad's
know.
big screen.
Right.
Well, yeah. And so now I'm in this situation. We've been talking.
So she wants to come over and watch wrestling with your dad. You all right with that?
She wants to watch WrestleMania, which is coming up in about 2 and a half
so
weeks.
you actually live at your parents' house and
Right.
don't want to show her.
Right. So I'm in quite the conundrum.
Yeah.
Walkout or no? It's not a walkout.
Not a
is it?
walkout.
Damn. Your life would be so much easier if it were a walkout.
Oh, I know. God help me if they could. They tried to make it a walkout, and the person who built the house was just lazy, I think, and told them he didn't want to do it.
Well, the moat, too, that gets it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm in
It's
this
not
situation.
there's not a drawbridge on the other side at the
Right.
back rear entrance to the castle. So
So this lends to a situation of like, I want this girl to come over and watch WrestleMania.
But how
Then
do
I
you
have to
shepherd her down the stairs
shepherd her down the
without her
stairs to the-
seeing that you actually live with your parents?
Yeah,
Right.
Without 38.
And then the reality is the timing that when wrestling would be on, they'd both be awake. It's not even like it'd be sleeping. And like my mom would probably just be in the kitchen. She'd have to walk by the.
oh man.
So I don't know what to do.
Could he pull off? Yeah, I'd let my folks move in. Could
In
he-
their
could
advanced
he-
age,
Yeah,
you
now
play
that-
it like I'm kind of taking care of them. And
Yeah.
Moreover, I've sort of given them the upstairs just out of respect.
the both 2 levels
Yeah.
upstairs. I've given them.
They don't get
you know.
around as easily as me, so
Yeah, so I just took the.
that's
room
your
right in
only
the
play,
basement.
dude.
I think my thought was maybe going like explaining that because she knows I do a podcast and stuff because she looked at my Facebook page. So I maybe just explaining like, well, I took a chance on this thing and I wasn't making money at first, so I had to make some sacrifices. And I'm looking for an apartment right now, but this is where
It's actually
I am.
not terrible.
I mean,
It's
I
not
like
terrible.
I like the full-on lie better.
well, of
Do you?
course you
Yeah.
do because it's ridiculous.
Maybe we could rent him that Ferrari you discussed too. I mean, if she pulls up and sees E's Ferrari in the driveway,
Reroute some Kickstarter funds.
sure.
But we'll see. So I'm gonna go for it anyway. Like I'm gonna invite her over. I mean, I'm gonna have to tell her ahead of time. I'm not gonna let her just walk in and be like, "Hey, here's my mom."
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, here's the thing. Where it
Sounds
stands right,
promising.
Where it stands, shut up. Where it stands right now, she wants to come over and watch it. So it's just gonna have to be this massaging of this other fact.
Yeah, he's the cat that just found the bird that can't quite fly anymore, like it's got a clipped wing or something.
Yeah.
And so he's got to pounce. He's just got to do it right. But he's found an injured animal
Yeah.
out there.
We'll
Is
see.
he done?
I'll
See if he
I'll
can
let you
finish the
know.
kill off.
Right.
Drag her back into your lair. Hey, we should get to Ken Kratz here in just a minute.
Kenneth.
So, insurance, Jay. You're familiar with insurance. We all need it. Most of us don't even know what kind of coverage we have or who provides it. Let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasick from Wasick Insurance Services change all of that. Brent has over 29 years of experience in the business, offers all types of insurance coverage, auto, home, health, life, business, etc. Call Brent Wasick at 734-455-1900 and get a free, no obligation quote today. Again, that's 734-455-1900. Ask for Brent Wasick at Wasick Insurance.
I think without going too much in the weeds, I think we should give a little bit of background for those who haven't seen Making a Murder.
Are
A
there
little bit of
people that
context.
haven't seen
I don't know.
Making
There
a
might be one or
Murder?
two.
Yeah.
Stephen Avery, dude's convicted of rape. He's proven innocent. He's released after, I think, 18 years in prison. He's awarded $36 million in a judgment against the county. And then in 2006, like soon after his release and soon after he gets that judgment, an Auto Trader photographer, Teresa Hallback, she goes missing, and she's last known to be going out and take photos at this salvage yard that Stephen basically lives at and works.
Yeah, the Avery salvage.
Yeah,
salvage
and ultimately, Teresa's remains are found in a burn pit right behind Stephen's home, and her car is found in the Avery salvage yard. The cops get a confession from his semi-retarded nephew, Brendan Dassey,
Yep.
and who implicates both Stephen and himself. And then this riveting portrayal of this case and trial and the trial of Brendan is in this Making a Murderer.
Yeah, and it's a remarkable documentary. It's definitely entertaining, infuriating, because it goes out of its way to make it look like the cops are in, the fix is in, the cops, the prosecutors, everyone. And we knew this book was coming out. We wanted to get it right away. And after reading it and hearing, seeing some more details about this case and actual facts and not just kind of one-sided, it paints a much different picture about what Making a Murderer really was. So if you were a fan of that show, and I know there are a lot of you out there, it might serve you some good to read this book. But I don't know. Let's. I think Ken is ready for us. So why don't we give Ken a call and we'll talk to him about his book, Avery: The Case Against Stephen Avery, and what Making a Murderer gets wrong.
Hello.
Hi, is this Ken Kratz?
It is.
Hey, Ken, it's Mike and Jay from the Detroit Cast. How are you, pal?
Hey, Ken.
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Very well.
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. We've actually enjoyed your book. It's called Avery: The Case Against Stephen Avery and What Making a Murderer Gets Wrong. Was that a tough book for you to write?
It was. It's the first book I've written. I knew the case obviously very well for, the years of prep of it and the presentation and talking about it ever since. But when you sit down and you go chapter by chapter, excuse me, and you try to discern, what it is that people are going to find either interesting, or compelling when I compare it to Making a Murderer, it was a lot harder than I thought it would be.
It's got to be hard to be the country's, biggest villain in overnight.
You really were, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, in January I was voted the most hated guy on the internet. March Madness is here, and last year we had brackets that were set up of all the villains of history, like Hitler and all those kind of things. So my first round action was against the Grinch last year, and I lost in the first round of the Grinch, and it was really a setback, but I survived. But the point is that for doing your job as a prosecutor from 10 years later to have gotten the kind of contempt and vitriol that I've gotten from people all over the world has been very, very interesting.
Now,
Yeah.
when was your first knowledge that Making a Murderer was even happening, that this film project was happening?
Well, during the trial, the filmmakers were present, really kind of embedded with the defense. They would drive to and from the courthouse with them, and it was clear that they were making a documentary. So
Quote,
I knew
unquote.
something.
Yeah.
I knew something was happening. In 2008, their first movie was completed. People may not realize that Making a Murderer is actually their second movie about Stephen Avery. Their first movie in 2008 was presented to the Columbia Film Festival, and we've asked to look at that original, to see what their agenda, really was, kind of when the safeties, were off, and they won't show that to us. It's buried. We're never going to see that original movie. But it was in probably 2013 that one of the filmmakers asked for an interview, asked for my involvement because they had sold the rights to Netflix at that time, and were just trying to secure the other side if they could get it. But I knew in 13 that it was going to be a docu-series, that it would be a much lengthier piece than the original shorter version that came up. So it wasn't a surprise. Obviously, the scope of the obsession with Making a Murderer was something that was very much a surprise. And like everybody else, I've kind of been just sitting and watching that for about the last 15 months.
Well, why didn't you take part, though, when asked? Why didn't you comment and try to get your side of the story more centrally?
I asked for, the same opportunity that the defense attorneys had to take a look at their first movie. I wanted to know what their agenda was. I wanted to kind of know what their angle was when they're making that, and then I'd agree to the interview. But I was denied, an opportunity to even see their finished first piece, which signaled to me that this wasn't going to be straight up. It wasn't going to be providing the state side of anything without pretty disturbing, misrepresentative editing. And I think it turned out I was spot on with what happened with the original film.
Yeah, you obviously feel that you and law enforcement were mischaracterized. I mean, do you believe that it rose to the level of
misconduct,
an actionable claim, defamation, or something along those lines?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that because I think the far, as a lawyer, the far better claim is probably the two police officers that were targeted and identified as having planted evidence. Both of these officers, by the way, for your listeners, have gotten such incredible negative response because of their involvement in the Avery case. These are two cops that, had never had any kind of blemish on their record, and to be cast as villains, to have these defense attorneys and then thereafter the movie makers suggest that they were involved in this conspiracy and that they planted evidence and that they conspired to frame Stephen Avery. One of them has kind of retired or left the police force in shame, which is such a tragedy. These guys are just doing their jobs and doing everything they can. They weren't the villains originally when they were performing, their tasks as evidence techs and logging in evidence. There was not really a whisper about it. It's only a year later when the defense attorneys kind of need to pin this on somebody other than their client. Do they identify officers Lincoln Colburn and
Andy
of course you all know from that point forward. Yeah, it's pretty brutal from that point forward what happens to them, and I'm hoping at least a big part of my book is to not only set the record straight, but to perhaps return the good reputations to these officers if we can.
Have they considered suing, or have you?
Yeah, I can only talk for myself because I'm not going to screw up anything that they've got going on. I've chosen, rather than file any kind of a lawsuit, to write this book. I think it's the bigger picture of showing exactly what did happen, what the jury did see, and just show how much of a sham, well-made sham, but a sham nonetheless, this docuseries was. I hope as people go through the book, they can see the deceptive editing and the omissions and the cherry picking and the splicing and everything else that goes on, which we may talk about a little bit more in detail. But I'm hoping that when people consider the full range of deception, that people are going to realize just how much they've been fooled, by a very, very interesting and very well-made docuseries.
Yeah, and that had to be really frustrating because I tell you, as a viewer, and Jay and I both watched that early on when it appeared on Netflix, and it was infuriating for us to watch. And a lot of that fury was aimed at people like you and the detectives because they did a really good job of making it making it appear that this was a conspiracy and stuff. So I can only imagine how someone like you, as a lead prosecutor, would have watched this. I would have been throwing shit through my TV if I knew what you knew.
Yeah, well,